We've got some breaking news to get to on NFL Draft Day. Just about to push out a mailbag video on the channel for you guys, but this came across my Twitter. Ari Mirov, my sports update, said the Giants will not be picking up the fifth-year option for Daniel Jones, which is worth about $22.3 million. That means he'll be an unrestricted free agent next offseason, but the franchise tag will always be available. And right now for the 2022 NFL season, the QB franchise tag is $29 million. So by declining his fifth-year option, and if he plays really well, you're going to franchise tag him. So you're going to have to overpay about $7 million. And I think that kind of tips the Giants' cap of what they think of Daniel Jones. If they thought he was a player that was going to be a guarantee and go out and play well next year, they wouldn't sacrifice that $7 million. They would have just picked up the fifth-year option for $22.3 and he would be a Giant for the next 2 seasons. But next year is all reliant on Daniel Jones. If he wants to be a Giant for following next season, he's going to have to prove it this year in the 2022 NFL season. It wasn't a surprise that the Giants declined the option, but what was your one-word reaction to them not picking it up? While it wasn't a surprise, that doesn't mean it's not newsworthy. This is a very newsworthy topic. Right now, Daniel Jones, he's only under contract for 1 more year, and all the marbles are going to be on the table for him to perform this year. So let me know your one-word reaction to the Giants declining his fifth-year option. The Giants, they declined a fifth-year option, but they also picked one up in Sexy Dexy, Dexter Lawrence. They picked up his fifth-year option for $10.7 million, fully guaranteed, and Lawrence was the first-round pick the Giants got from the Odell Beckham Jr. trade. Did anyone even ever win that Odell Beckham Jr. trade? The Giants, I don't think they came out winners, and I don't think the Browns, they came out winners either. Damn, the Los Angeles Rams might have been winners of that trade, but this was also expected for Dexter Lawrence. He's been a really good pro through his first 3 years in the NFL. He has improved his snap count every single year. He played about 67% this past year, so I'm glad that the Giants picked up his option because he's a good football player, and the Giants are in the camp right now where they need to be adding every single good football player they can. I also want to remind you guys we're going to be going live on the channel for Picks 5 and Pick 7 of the 2022 NFL Draft. We'll get going live at about Pick 2, so subscribe, turn your notifications on. It's going to be a party. It's a great day to be a New York Giants football fan, so subscribe, and we'll see you later tonight. This first one coming in from Flagspin, one of the most loyal subs on the channel. I appreciate you. Should the Giants trade back in round 1? I think on paper, it's a good idea. Anytime you could trade down and add more picks for this year and next year, it's a good idea. But from listening to Joe Schoen and everything that he said, it only sounds like he's going to make that type of move if he's just blown away from the trade proposals. I think the only way I would move down in the first round from picks 5 or 7 if I net a future first-round pick for the 2023 NFL Draft. If not, I'm taking the best 2 players available at picks 5 and pick 7, hoping I get a day 1 starter at those 2 spots. King Wolf, what's up, man? Should we draft a safety in the second round? I think it kind of matters what you do in round 1. If you get a corner and an offensive lineman in round 1, I don't think it's as big of a need. But say you get an edge rusher and an offensive tackle in round 1, I think safety becomes a bigger need. Some safeties that I like in round 2, Jalen Petrie, he's my number 1 guy. I like Lewis Seen a lot out of Georgia, and I also like Jaquan Brisker. But if I had to choose between those 3 guys, I'm going Jalen Petrie. He reminds me a lot of Tyrann Mathieu, a do-it-all safety. He can play strong safety. He can play linebacker. He can rush the passer off the edge, and he can slide into the slot a little bit and guard some receivers and tight ends. But yes, I wouldn't be opposed to drafting a safety at pick number 36. Joshua Brito, what's going on? Giants, should we draft a wide receiver in the second round? I think it also matters what you do in round 1. But look, if a guy like George Pickens is still there, or Sky Moore, or maybe someone else falls like Christian Watson, there's some wide receivers I would jump at the chance to pick them at pick number 36. How many wide receivers have we seen in the past go in round 2 that have been great? I can think of a couple off the top of my head. A.J. Brown, Deebo Samuel, Devontae Adams. There's always receivers that go and fall out of round 1 that you could pick at the top of round 2 that are going to be day 1 starters. And if some of those guys fall, like Watson or somebody else, maybe Pickens, I'm pretty high on George Pickens, I would definitely be down to take a receiver at 36. Those are some guys I'm looking at, but I want to know guys that you're thinking of that the Giants could pick at number 36, a wide receiver. Let me know in the comment section, what round should the Giants draft a wide receiver? I don't really have a designated round. I'm all about BPA in the draft, just like Joe Schoen is. But let me know, what round do you think the Giants should draft a wide receiver? Alex Roberts, what's going on? Any realistic chance we use 5 or 7 to get Deebo? I'd say there's a little bit of a chance, maybe like a 1% chance. I don't think there's no shot at all. People like to say the Giants, they don't have any cap space for Deebo. The thing is they do. Deebo Samuel only costs about $4 million against the cap right now, and he doesn't want a new contract. He wants an extension. So what does that mean? You backload the extension and eat up the cap next year, where the Giants have $95 million in cap space for the 2023 NFL season. Look, I'd be down to trade pick 7 and James Bradbury for Deebo Samuel. Is that enough? I'm not sure. But if I had to make a decision, I would probably just stick at 7, continue the path the Giants are going on, select a player that can be cost-controlled for the next 5 years. Maybe it's Garrett Wilson, or if not, you get a receiver later on in the draft. Joshua Brito, what's going on? Another question. Should we draft David Ojabo in the 2nd round? I think 36 is a little too early for Ojabo. I had him as a top 10 player before he got hurt. I was down with the Giants picking him at pick 7, but I do hold out a little bit of hope because I saw Cam Akers come back from an Achilles injury in 6 months and play in the same football season. Of course, David Ajabo's agent said he's going to be on a similar time recovery as Cam Akers. Who knows? But Ojabo, he has all-world talent. There's a reason he was a top 10 pick. If he's there in the 3rd round when the Giants are on the clock, I'd feel a little bit more comfortable. I wouldn't be mad if the Giants picked him at 36, but he's a player with a lot of upside, so I could see it. This next one coming from Tom Brady's daddy. Love it. Who is your biggest draft sleeper? My biggest draft sleeper, I got a couple I got. On the offensive side of the ball, if I'm thinking about a running back, I like Hassan Haskins a lot. I think he's going to be a really good football player. I think he's like a poor man Zeke, a very physical running back. But if I had to think of a wide receiver on the outside, what about Tyquan Thornton? Because I think the Giants are going to be looking for receivers at the wide receiver spot. And Thornton, he is rising a little bit, but someone you could still get in round 5 or round 4, 62 grabs last year. One of the fastest players at the combine this past year, had 10 total touchdowns. This is someone that you can put on the outside, and he can win on deep balls. He ran a 4.28 40 at the NFL Combine, 6'2", 183 pounds. You could put him on the outside, and he can beat just about anyone on a go route. I gave you mine. I gave you 2 guys, actually. I like Hassan Haskins. I also like Tyquan Thornton. But give me your biggest NFL draft sleeper in the comment section. I'm going to go back and read them, and I'll do some tape study on some guys you give me in the comment section. And a reminder to subscribe, because we're going to be going live for the NFL Draft. Picks 5 and Picks 7. And look, we do free Giants videos around the latest news and rumors. We thrive ourselves by getting you the fastest Giants news and rumors. When the Kadarius Toney trade report broke, I was out of town at my brother's house in my newborn nephew's nursery. But I cranked out a video for you guys because I made the promise we'd be the first YouTube channel to fill you in on Giants news and rumors. So if that sounds like something you'd like, go and hit that big red button. Help us get to 8,000 subscribers. Connor Redo, why not pick Devin Lloyd or Nakobe Dean instead of Stingley? We need a true captain for our defense, a gritty, hard-nosed player to lead the team. I like that thought process. I like Nakobe Dean a lot. I like Devin Lloyd a lot. I think Lloyd is going to go before Dean. And there's rumors today that Todd McShay said Nakobe Dean could fall out of the 1st round. If he's there at pick 36, I'd jump all over taking him at 36. I just think corners are a little bit more are a little bit more valuable than off-ball linebackers like Devin Lloyd or Nakobe Dean. Lloyd and Dean, they could be better pros than Derek Stingley, but I think you are taking a chance on Stingley and potentially getting a true cornerback 1. someone that has top 10 cornerback potential in the NFL. I think that positional value is a little bit more towards corners than linebackers. But if Dean is there at 36 or if the Giants trade down, I'd be down to take Devin Lloyd in the first round. I like both those prospects a lot. We'll see. Giants trade down from pick 7. Matters what you're offering me. I'd be down, but I have to get a good return. I just don't want to trade it for a neutral gain. Honestly, I'm only trading down if some team overpays like the Chicago Bears did last year for the New York Giants to move up. My producer, he's a Bears fan. He's giving me the middle finger. Right now, they're the winners of the trade because Kadarius Toney, he hasn't been that good. But you did get their 7th overall pick this year, and if we trade down from that spot, I think you have to get a future first-round pick. Do you want to trade down with the Saints for their 2 first-round picks or trade down with the Eagles for their first 2-round picks? Trade ideas I've seen before, but I'm only trading down if I get a future first-round pick. Appreciate the question, Wolf C. Alert! We're still ahead of the Dallas Cowboys report here on Giants Now over on Rumble, and I want to keep it that way. I want to lengthen the lead between the Cowboys report and Giants Now. We're a little over 100 followers away, and if you're wondering what is Rumble, it's a very similar app to YouTube. We're posting Giants content over there, so give us a follow. Rumble.com/NYGiantsTV. And one of my favorite features about Rumble is you don't have to watch me to watch the videos. You can turn it off, close your phone, put it in your pocket, and the audio will continue to roll like you're listening to music or a podcast. So if you want to work out while staying up to date on the latest Giants news and rumors, go and do it over on Rumble. Rumble.com/NYGiantsTV. Let's get to 2,000 followers before the NFL draft. Everett Whitman. We have pick 5 and 7. I like Evan Neal and a cornerback. I like both picks. Look, if you can get Neal or Aquanu at pick 5, that's an A-plus grade. If Sauce Gardner's there at 7, that's an A-plus grade. And I'm also be down to take Derek Stingley at pick number 7. I think Stingley, honestly, has the most upside of any corner in the NFL. The thing is, he was injured throughout his sophomore and junior year at LSU. That's scaring some teams. But according to the latest NFL draft rumors, his medicals check out, and he's 100% healthy. I think Stingley could be better than Gardner, but I'm totally down with taking an offensive tackle at 5 and a cornerback at number 7. Thanks for the question, Whitman. You tell me, though. We talked about an offensive lineman at 5 and a corner at pick number 7. But outside the offensive line, we all know that's the biggest need for the New York Football Giants. What do you think is the biggest need outside of that? Is it quarterback? Is it receiver? Is it tight end? Edge rusher? Off-ball linebacker? Corner? Safety? Kicker? Punter? Let me know what you think the Giants' biggest need is outside the O-line. My guy, what's going on? Go sub to Giants on Chat Sports. What's going on, man? Always in the comment section and chopping it up on Twitter with you. Is Travon Walker all hype, or does he live up to the hype? I think there is a little bit of hype, but he's got the athletic ability, the size, and the motor to be great in the NFL. The latest odds in Vegas, Walker's the favorite to be the number 1 overall pick. And it would be pretty Jacksonville Jaguars-esque to reach on a guy that before the NFL Combine was a second-round pick, and now he goes all the way to number 1 because he ran really fast and threw up a lot of weight in tights and a tight shirt. Look, I like Walker. I think top 7 is a little bit too big for early for him. I didn't see the production for him to be a top 7 pick, but who knows? The Jacksonville Jaguars, they're probably going to take him number 1 overall. Skylar Shaw, wouldn't you worry about Stingley's injury history? Also, what injuries has he had? Are there any major injuries? Look, I'm definitely worried about it. I have a saying that hurt people stay hurt, but I think he's the type of player that when you have 2 first-round picks, that you can take a risk on. This is somewhere that can be a number 1 corner in the NFL. He reminds me a little bit of a Tre'Davious White. He can get in your face and be a true man-to-man cover corner. He's had some injuries, a knee injury, an ankle injury. No serious injuries, but those small tissue injuries, lower extremity injuries, they're sometimes hard to shake. But I think you just take a risk on him if he's there at 7, and I'm down to draft him if he's available and Sauce Gardner is not on the board. I draft Sauce first, but if he's gone and we need a corner, I'm down for Stingley. ECK Sports, what's going on? Should the Giants draft Devin Lloyd at 7? I think 7's too early for an off-ball backer. I talked about him earlier in the draft process about taking him. I mean, if you go and watch the tape and you look at the stats, Devin Lloyd is, in my opinion, the best off-ball backer in this draft, a true sideline-to-sideline linebacker. He reminds me of a more athletic Darius Leonard. He's not just a run stopper. He's solid in pass coverage, but he's also good at pass rushing. He can get home and get to the quarterback, and that would improve the Giants' front seven. But I think when you just take in positional value, I think that linebacker is not as high as what it once was. And we see guys like Tay Crowder, who is Mr. Irrelevant. He's no Devin Lloyd, but he's a serviceable linebacker, too, next to Blake Martinez. I like Devin Lloyd a lot. If we trade down, he's one of my top trade-down targets. COVID-1984, the last question on this Giants mailbag. Do the reports that the Giants are really high on do I believe it? Yes, but I also think it could be a little bit of a smokescreen. Joe Schoen, he's a very calculated guy. He's worked his way up to be a general manager. He's taken tips of the trade from Brandon Beane and Bill Parcells. Throw a little smokescreen out there that you love Charles Cross at 5 or 7. Maybe a team believes you, and then they think, why don't we love Charles Cross? So maybe someone takes him in the top 5 or 7, and that pushes down Evan Neal or Ikem Ekwonu. I have Ekwonu as my number 1 tackle. Evan Neal is number 2. Charles Cross is number 3. I think Cross is the best pass blocker, is the best athlete out of all 3 of them. But I don't necessarily think the Giants would take him at pick number 5. Would I be surprised? No, but we've been surprised a little bit more on draft night before as New York Giants fans. Last question that I have for you guys on this Giants mailbag. I want you to predict the Giants record for next season. Remember, it's 17 games. It's kind of weird to still think about. I'm not really used to that. But get in the comment section and let me know what you think the Giants record will be for next season.